Hi there, Reed here from ThunderLaser, back with another quick LightBurn lesson. This video will be discussing the Cuts and Layers window and how this is important to your projects. Now, you should have this window off to the side of your screen by default, like me, but if you don't, you can always find it by opening up the Window tab at the top of the screen and selecting Cuts Layers. When starting a new project, this window will be empty until you begin adding elements to your design. By clicking on one of the colored boxes at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to use that color to draw an image in your workspace. And upon doing so, you'll notice a new item has appeared in the Cuts Layers window. This item allows you to tell the laser what to do with this colored layer in your design, be it changing the speed or power, or changing it from a cut to an engrave, or a few other helpful tools we'll get into. Effectively, these color tabs at the bottom of the screen offer you 29 different layers that you can customize to different powers and speeds, depending on what burn you're looking for. If we click on one of our layers in the Cuts Layers window, it brings up a tab where we can get very specific with the laser. The main focus here is the Mode option, where you can set your design as a line, which is for cutting, or fill, which is used for engraving. The third option, Offset Fill, is a bit more advanced, and you can find details of that in our advanced LightBurn tips and tricks video. Now, depending on whether you're doing a cut or engrave, you're going to have different values set in these options at the top: speed, max power, and min power. Depending on the job you're doing, you can find these settings in the printed document that comes with your laser, or over at thunderlaser.com under the knowledge base and laser settings. Max power refers to the maximum power your laser will cut at, which is the main number you want. But the option for min power will be used by your laser during a cut when the machine slows down to reverse direction, or make a sharp corner. This prevents blown out corners and poor quality cuts on these edges. Normally, you should set this number to just above the threshold where your laser fires. You should only set it at the same as the max power when doing an engrave. If you select the mode as fill for an engrave, we do need to pay attention to one of those options below, the lines per inch and line interval boxes. These two are tied together actually. Changing the value in one adjusts the other automatically. All of this just refers to the distance between each pass of the laser during engraving. It affects the quality and detail of the work, with a smaller interval giving you a higher resolution and finer details, and larger intervals speeding up the process at the expense of detail. Think more space in between each line. We found a value for line interval between 0.080 and 0.086 to be a great default setting, but experiment and see if you can find a different value that works for your project. The last major thing of importance in this window is the high air toggle, which will control your air assist. The general rule we follow is having high air on for cuts and off for engraves, though this may not always be the case, and we'll cover that in our advanced techniques video. A final thing to note in regards to settings, you can also use this Cuts Layers window to turn off different layers, preventing them from being seen or cut. If you turn this output toggle here off, this layer won't be sent to the laser, even if it's part of your design, and the show toggle will actually hide the layers in your workspace. You also have the ability to toggle the air assist on or off here as well, and even adjust the number of passes. That's the number of times the laser will run this layer. Finally, by default, LightBurn will run your laser job by running through your layers from the top of the list to the bottom. If you want something to cut before another part of your design, you can select the layer you wish to move, and use these arrow keys to move it up or down in the layer list depending on its priority. And that should be everything you need to know about the Cuts and Layers window. Happy lasering!